As a Nigerian, the Nigerian passport is an important document for when you want to visit different countries. But what happens when it has been reported by the Henley Passport Index that the Nigerian passport has fallen by 38 places in the global passport ranking in the last 17 years, between 2006 and 2022?
The Henley Passport Index ranks passports according to the number of countries their holders can access visa-free or with visa on arrival programs. The world currently is experiencing an economic downturn. But this does not curb the travel desire that many have. Whilst some desire to travel out of the country for the first time, others desire to make frequent trips in and out of the country and maybe even see the whole world.
Joining us this morning to explore conversations surrounding how to maximize the Nigerian passport, we have two passionate travelers who continue to explore the world through travel and also sharing tips for budding travelers. We have Bethia Idoko, who is a real estate consultant and the head of business development for Gidi Traffic. Her goal is to visit every country in the world, and she has visited 53 countries at the moment. Thank you, Bethia, for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Olive.
All right. We also have
Munachi Osisiogu, who is the founder of Travelleters, a platform that demystifies and makes travel accessible to Nigerian passport holders. Thank you for joining us, Munachi. I hope I got the surname correct.
That's fine. Even I struggle.
Okay. 53 countries. I probably should start the conversation by asking Bethia why she know they stay one place. That might be a good thing to ask, because why and how have you made it to 53 countries?
Well, I guess when you have a passion for something, somehow you find a way around it. I've always wanted to travel and see what's beyond Nigeria, where I'm from originally. And it's been in me for a while, for a long time. So when I got the chance to, I basically just started to travel. And yeah, I want to see every country in the world.
Okay, I share that same desire with you. It's just that my bank account is reflecting a different desire, which is where I'm going to bring Munachi in. Munachi, what you do with your letters is that you share tips on how budget travelers can be able to make the most of their journeys within a limited budget. So first of all, how did you get into that? Was it from a personal experience? Because I know you're a lawyer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lawyer full time. I have a 9 to 5, full time, but travel is, something I'm very passionate about. So I think last year, August, I saw a ticket randomly, 180,000 naira to go to Rwanda. And I was shocked because that's like this almost the same fare going from Lagos to Abuja. And then when I tweeted, people were shocked. Are you serious? Return ticket for that price. I realized that Nigerians don't have access to loads of information. So I started to demystify travel for Nigerian budget travelers, which almost everyone falls into that demographic. So yeah.
All right, so let's talk about what this demystification entails. I'm giving you now, just like Bethia, I desire to travel the world, but I don't really have money. What sort of tips would you give me in that regard?
So I think as a Nigerian passport holder, one thing, as a budget traveler, one thing you don't have the luxury of spontaneity. That's for rich people, right? So you have to, make plans ahead, book your flights 5 to 6 weeks before your travel dates, and then there's a bunch of websites that helps you compare fair price.
Munachi, can you hear us? Oh, I think we may have lost Munachi. Bethia, can you still hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Why don't we try to reconnect with Muna? Let's talk about travel experience. First of all, there's naturally the fear that it's more expensive, and it doesn't make any sense. That it's so expensive to travel across Africa compared to traveling to other parts of the world. But
Yes.
what would your advice be? To a person who wants to travel? Where would you advise that they start first? And what has been maybe your most fascinating travel experience?
Okay, so first off, for most people who would like to start traveling, this is the first thing I say. A lot of people are really fascinated by the idea of maybe the US or the UK or either of the Schengen states, which is pretty amazing. Unfortunately, those are not places that readily just throw a visa in your face. So a lot of initial travelers find that a big problem, and then it just basically breaks their spirit when they have a few denials here and there. However, there's so many beautiful places here in Africa and a few outside of Africa that you don't particularly need a visa to visit with a Nigerian passport. I mean, now I think we have about 40, slightly over 40, but it keeps declining, by the year, of countries that you can actually visit, visa on arrival or visa free. And these are really beautiful destinations as well. I would say, first off, we start with these places that don't have a lot of hassles as regards getting a visa to go into or visa free. And then planning, like Munachi earlier said, I mean, spontaneity is for rich people. You know, if you plan ahead, you tend to find tickets much more affordable than if you just woke up one morning and said, I wanted to travel, and you have to buy a ticket much more expensive. You know, that's one. And like you mentioned, it's actually more expensive traveling around Africa than traveling outside of Africa. But then there are ways around these things. If you plan one way or another, there are hacks where you can get tickets slightly more affordable than you will if you just got up and decided you wanted to travel. Oh. That's one way around. And then another way is maybe bunching up a few countries together. For instance, you want to see Cotonou, like Benin Republic. Togo is just right around the corner. Ghana is just right around the corner as well. That all can be a road trip. And in a week, I mean, you can do all three places comfortably, as opposed to going to one, spending all of that money, coming back, and then planning for a second one, which is just next door. So these are a few hacks that help here and there.
Thank you, Bethia, for sharing these hacks. And I'm sure that Munachi would have some extra hacks. You were trying to share them earlier. You talked about websites that help with the comparison of flight prices.
Yeah, like Skyscanner, for instance, right? So I have trust issues, so I like to pay, someone that I know, but Skyscanner will help you, compare prices, when to go. And one of the cheapest days to travel is Tuesdays and Wednesdays, right? And one of the best times to also get cheap tickets is 12 a.m., 3 a.m. I mean, if you're a budget traveler, there's really no sleep for you. You need to find cheap tickets. And so there are a bunch of ways to go. And most times, if you're checking for a price ticket on a website continuously because you're anxious, the price will keep going up from just your end. The way to hack that is to go use a VPN or go incognito, so nobody knows the country you're trying to search from.
Oh, wow. Now, I listen, first of all, 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. and then going incognito. Yep. If I need to book a ticket to some country in Europe, is it advisable to book it 2 years ahead? Will I be able to get like 50 grand if I book?
About 6 weeks actually helps put the prices down.
Oh, really?
6 weeks?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, 5 to 6 weeks, the prices come down. And another thing, another way to explore the world easier is to have certain visas on your passport, right? So, for instance, if I have a UK visa on my passport, then that means Egypt is visa on arrival for me for 25 USD. I wouldn't have to go to the US embassy, right? If I have a UK visa on my passport, then that means I don't have to go to a Moroccan embassy for visa. It'll be e-visa, which comes out in like 72 hours, for I think $62 or so. So having some visas on your passport also helps, right? But even if you don't have those visas yet, we have a lot of countries that are very affordable to go to. Rwanda, Lebanon. Rwanda is a country that is being slept on.
Yes.
Lebanon is super beautiful and amazing. Lebanon gives you Paris and Dubai, and it's very affordable.
Yes.
Visa is like USD. Flights right now is like 277,000 naira. Hotels are very cheap.
Wow.
If you have $1,000 in Rwanda.
Okay, Bethia.
$1,000 in Rwanda. The difference between you and $1 in Lebanon.
Please, there's some difference.
Let's talk about Africa now. How can we maximize travel within Africa? Unfortunately, we don't have access to traveling to every African country. Yeah. Maybe, Bethia, you've shared with us some countries. Muna, let's share with you, Bethia, some of these countries that you've explored and you think that Nigerians should be open to exploring.
Yeah, so if you're going to advise, a me now, I want to do a trip this year. What's a place that you would advise that I go?
Well, I'm very partial towards Zanzibar. Zanzibar, agents can get you tickets for Zanzibar very easily. It's a referral system. So someone in Zanzibar basically has to write you a referral letter before you can get a visa to Tanzania. But most of our local travel agents in Nigeria, have relationships with these people in Tanzania. So they help in getting Tanzanian visas very early, like 2 days, 3 days, you can get the visa for a fee, of course. But then it's a very, very understated country. It's really, really beautiful on every level. I mean, in everywhere I have been to, which is 53, Zanzibar happens to be my favorite because of how beautiful it is. And if you use an agent, the visa is pretty easy to get. If you do not use an agent, you will have a lot of sad stories to tell, like it was with me initially, until eventually I got it right. So yeah, Zanzibar is one really amazing and understated destination to visit.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say start from Zanzibar.
All right. Bethia, Idoko, Munachi, thank you so much for joining us. We want to have both of you join us again because there are several layers to this conversation about exploring travel that we're yet to uncover, such as group trips and, travel buddies, and just basically how we can, for me, is to travel on a budget. Because I don't yet to have a $10 kind of money.
I just went ahead to follow Travelleters, so I could also learn some tips from there and see where that would lead me. I will make a trip this year or maybe two. So I'm working with advice from Bethia and Muna.
And if you travel, who then sitting for you on the show?
Hey, my God.
Wow. This is where we end this conversation. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend. I look forward to seeing more of your travels on social media as well.